When you appear to change, or maybe you are just showing up as who you've always been, you just hit it, it threatens the identity that others built around you.
For generations, women were shamed for trusting themselves, sensing things before they happen, and believing in their own power. No one encouraged them to embrace it until now. Welcome to Trust Yourself.
Hi, I'm Elise, but my sister calls me Sissy.
And I'm her sister, Heidi.
We're your favorite psychic sisters, and today we are talking about what happens when the people closest to you stop supporting who you are becoming. Whether you are coming out, changing your gender, leaving a religion, switching political views, choosing a new career, or embracing your own version of spirituality. Along this journey of finding yourself, your true, authentic, beautiful self, you may encounter some resistance from family and those you love the most. It is not easy to navigate family disapproval or identity shaming at all. So today I am dedicating this episode to our favorite outcasts who are daring to walk their own unpaved, gravelly path in power heels. How's that for a visual?
I love it. This is such a good visual.
So in this episode, we are breaking down how to stay grounded in who you are, even when the people closest to you don't understand, and why it's so worth it. So this is also probably a good time to just reiterate that we are not therapists, just spiritual feminists talking about our frustrations.
We just have a little bit of female rage. It's fine.
Yeah, just a little bit. So Heidi, I learned something the other day about social rejection, and it's research-based.
Of course it is.
I still find it fascinating. I'm sure you will too. In 2003, UCLA researchers found that social rejection lights up the same region of the brain as physical pain.
That makes sense.
So the researchers put people in an fMRI machine, which I don't know the difference between fMRI or just MRI.
So want me to tell you?
Yeah, actually.
fMRI is a functional MRI machine, so you can actually be moving around and talking and doing things, whereas an MRI, you have to stay really, really still.
Okay, so that makes more sense. So when they put them in this functional MRI machine, they found that when these people were excluded or judged, the exact same area of the brain lit up as when the body is physically hurt. So it was the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex. Doctors tell
Beautiful.
me if I'm wrong.
All I know is dorsal is on the back side. So
Okay, something back here, like
something in the back of your brain or wherever they were looking. Yes, it sounds great.
yeah. So in this experiment, they must have been walking around talking to people and being judged.
Or like physically fighting with somebody.
Or that. Yeah. Ooh, I'm
causing physical pain.
Experiment.
I really want to know details on this experiment now.
But this is showing when someone you love pulls away or disapproves of your choices, your body literally processes it like you've been physically hurt.
Yeah, it's literally a gut punch or
Yeah.
a broken heart.
Exactly. So you're not being dramatic. It does deeply hurt.
It hurts. It hurts.
You can literally feel the sting of someone you love questioning your choices, your beliefs, your identity. And there's another layer to this. So according to Dr. Matthew Lieberman, the reason that social rejection hurts so intensely is that it's actually evolutionary. So thousands and thousands of years ago, if you were socially rejected, you were outcast from your tribe, your community. Mm-hmm. And losing your tribe meant losing your safety. Basically a death sentence.
Yeah, like you would die.
Yes, you would die.
You're getting kicked out into the snow by yourself. Good luck.
Yep. So the brain decided to wire social pain into the physical pain system as a survival alarm. That's a dick move, right?
Yeah, fucking evolution.
Fucking evolution. And unfortunately, our brains still haven't updated that software yet. So it still can't tell the difference between I've been abandoned in the wilderness and my family thinks I'm doing the devil's work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Goodbye forever.
Nice knowing you.
I mean, there are families that completely kick people out
Yes.
for not believing in what they believe in. Or
I mean, there's families that kick family members out for so many things that seem so trivial to some other people. So it's definitely not really like a joke, but
no,
it's almost like you have to laugh so you don't cry sometimes.
I know. So stick with us. We're getting through it. All right.
We'll get it better.
Yeah. But this is why so many people would rather hide their truth to avoid disappointing their families and risk being outcast. There are some big risks that people are taking. I'm going to be completely honest and probably sound like a spoiled brat here, but for 39 years, I've felt 100% supported by my family and most of my friends until we started this podcast. I mean, there's little things here and there, but it wasn't until recently that I actually got my first taste of this pain from family. Heidi, I know you probably have had lots of little things here and there too, but I know this stung you too.
I feel like it hit me in a different way. Maybe only because I have primed myself most of my adult life and even like late teens of doing things against the grain. And I've been doing things against the grain to the point where it kind of not numbs me, but it just made me like not care as much what other people think.
You expected it.
Like I do expect it. And then Sissy, you and I had a conversation about how looking back, it's almost like you were always supported, almost overly supported in some ways where you were feeling like, well, this is my only option. I have to do this. Like you're chasing architecture and you're doing all these things. And everyone's like, oh, Elise, you're so amazing. And so it's almost there's two ways. There is two extremes of everything, but it could be having so much support that you feel like you'll let everybody down if you don't do this thing, or having no support where you're like, wow, I'm just alone. So
So how do we support in a nice, equal way, in a friendly way?
Find the balance.
But I'll give a little background. So recently we had a family member go out of their way to let us know that they do not support what we are doing on this podcast. And they're very concerned for us. And I'm not going to lie, even though it kind of sounds like a nice, loving comment, like, oh, I'm concerned for you, it still stung a lot. I just felt like I'm not good enough now. I got hot. I got angry. I was shaking. I erased 10 texts I was going to say. And then I like swung the opposite direction and I started to fawn and apologize. And
I knew that was coming. I was waiting for you to like apologize and be like, yeah, she's going to. And meanwhile, I just sat back and watched it. I just don't engage in it because I'm like, I can't control how people feel about me. I can only control how I feel about it. If somebody's concerned about me, but I feel like there's no reason to be concerned, I don't need that concern. But yeah, everybody reacts differently and that's also okay. But this specifically, we're talking about the people where it hurts deeply.
It hurts. So yeah, I finally was able to... I wasn't too people pleasing, but I spoke from my heart.
You did.
I did apologize if we unintentionally offended them. But other than that,
of course,
we ended the conversation saying, thank you for your concern. And we love you because we do. We love our family members. We love them. Just because their belief is different does not make me hate them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
Rant. But anyway, but it still fucking hurt. And I called my mom after, as I usually do. And I was just thinking, I'm just going to call her and be like, well, this was weird. But as soon as she answered, like waterworks came out. I'm like, Mom.
Yeah. It's like you're a child again seeking safety because that's what you're doing.
My body was physically shaking. It was so bizarre. And yeah, I haven't felt like that in a long time. But then I went crying to my amazing friend, Ashley, who is a badass hype girl. She's also a paleontologist. I mean,
she's so fucking cool.
Awesome.
She needs to be on the podcast.
Right. Come on the podcast, Ashley.
She finds dinosaur bones, you guys. Like if you want to hear somebody who's a badass who finds dinosaur bones, let us know in the comments because I have a vote for it.
Yeah. But as I was whining about feeling unsupported for my podcast, I realized, oh my God, Elise, you idiot. she is queer and has family members who absolutely do not support her and they barely talk. So I thought, like, what right do I have to complain to her about feeling unsupported for this? But you know what she said? She's like, Elise, all the more reason to come to me. I totally get it. And after talking to her, it helped me realize that this family member who said they were concerned for us, I realized their concern wasn't actually about us. It was about their own fears. I also realized that we can both live in our truths. So neither of us is wrong if we are living if we are living our authentic lives. My truth is that I can believe in God and believe in intuition and believe that we're all connected. God is within us and we can co-create this beautiful life together. And I don't see that as evil, as selfish, but I think my family member, their truth is they don't believe that what I believe is okay or is true, is right. So in my truth, I get to be me, authentically me, and in their truth, they are concerned for me. And that, I don't know, that feels like a burden, but that's their truth and that's their choice.
Yeah.
So I do think that both can exist at the same time because they are beliefs, right?
Yeah.
I feel like an example of two truths existing at once would be like if someone walked into a shopping mall and they looked around, they said, oh my gosh, this is the most gorgeous, luxurious shopping mall I've ever been in. I can't believe all the beauty here and everything is so luxurious and expensive. And that's what they believed. And then somebody else walked into the exact same mall and they're kind of like, whoa, this is a really disgusting mall. Oh my gosh, it's dirty, it's smelly. Everything sold here is a piece of crap because that's what they believe. Both are true and valid for each person based on their own upbringing, their beliefs, their values, their circumstances, their own lived experiences. So to tell one of them that they are false would be hurtful to their identity and everything that they know to them. Does that make sense? I don't know, Heidi, what do you think? Can two things be true at once?
I 100% we can both be right. And it's all your perception too. And like we've been talking about on this podcast, things are just labels and names that we put on things, and they all have nearly the same deeper meaning. And I know, Sissy, for you with this whole debacle, you felt really guilty and you asked for the clarity in a dream, right?
I did.
And can you tell us what happened with that?
Yeah. So in the middle of the night, I woke up. I remember waking up and I don't remember anything about my dream, but I remember saying, thank you for clarity. Oh, I get it now. Thank you for clarity. And then in the morning, when I fully woke up, I remember feeling like I knew in my heart it was okay. I was in my truth. And I also knew in my heart that my family member that was talking to me, they weren't wrong either. And they're perfectly fine. And to let them voice that concern, that's fine, but I'm not going to let it affect me.
This sounds so much like Mel Robbins' let them theory.
When I said let them, I'm like,
let them do them and then let me do me.
Yeah.
And to do it in a way where I really appreciate the fact that I've been doing improv courses and improv classes too, because the yes and mentality has changed me from a black and white to a gray area.
Is that what they teach you in improv?
Everything is yes and, because the whole thing about improv is somebody will offer you something like, say like, Hawaii is super hot. Isn't it nice here? And you can't be like, we're not in Hawaii. We're in Boston. You have to yes and something like, yeah, it's great. And so for me, I'm using that yes and in my life where it's like, yes, you can be right. And I can feel my way about it too. Or, like any of those yes ands, I've just been really incorporating. I feel like that's my next tattoo, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Yes and.
Always thinking about your next tattoo. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here like, what is my first tattoo going to be? be and I can't fucking get it because I'm too concerned. It's going to be there forever. It has to be perfect.
I've got a cross tattoo on my ankle that I don't feel like personally attached to, but in the moment, like when I got it, I knew why I got it.
Yeah.
And that part is still important.
Yeah.
And to me now, it's like, it just reminds me of my dad too, where it's just like, yeah, he was a pastor. And
You can
am I
reassign meaning to it.
super religious? Absolutely not. But like, yeah, your meaning to tattoos can change, but it's always, the reason, like if the reason why you got it is like so strong, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Oh, I love that little sidebar. Okay.
Sorry.
No, I love those. If people have listened to this podcast from the beginning, they will know that's what we do is sidebars.
This is what I do, guys. I'm the one with ADHD.
I mean, we both have tangents. It's fine. It's not just you, I promise.
Oh, I know.
Okay, but when those we love withdraw our support, it can really trigger shame and fear. And so much is happening in our body when we feel shame and fear that we get stuck in horrible patterns of playing small to avoid those feelings. And I want to give a little breakdown of what happens in our bodies in these intense, sometimes familial exchanges. Let's look emotionally first. Family systems rely on something called homeostasis, which is the body's ability to maintain stable internal environment. I mean, we all want to feel safe and stable, right?
It's your internal thermostat keeping things balanced.
Yes. So when you appear to change, or maybe you are just showing up as who you've always been, but you just hid it, it threatens the identity that others have built around you. So for me, as I'm diving deeper into my spiritual practice, I'm realizing that my evolution is starting to feel like betrayal to people that were committed to the old version of me. But that's not my burden to carry.
Right.
So what happens when their old version of you is threatened? They may attack with hurtful words. Now let's look neurologically. When you are attacked, when you are criticized by your family, your loved ones, your amygdala activates.
Yeah.
And that amygdala triggers your fight or flight response. You are now also perceiving this as a threat, and you are preparing to fight or run away. So of course, this makes self-trust almost impossible. So energetically, this conflict triggers shame and guilt and confusion. And shame is one of the lowest energetic frequencies. It constricts your intuition, your muscles tense. It physically feels heavy on your body. And then psychologically, people often label what they fear. So your spiritual gifts, your intuition, your personal identity, your gender, it may trigger their unresolved beliefs. They don't get it, so they label it and they get scared, right? And this can also show up spiritually too. When you start to step into a higher version of yourself, it kind of exposes where others haven't given themselves permission to grow. So again, they're going to react out of fear or maybe even jealousy, right? Like, oh, how dare you live so freely when I have to follow the rules,
Yeah.
But what are those rules? They set them for themselves, or society sets them for themselves.
Yeah. Or whoever you surround yourself with.
Yes.
Like you create your own reality. Everyone kind of creates their own reality by who you surround yourself with and what they believe.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
Yeah. That's why I think chosen family sometimes can be a much deeper connection.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Understanding all of this, it's easy to see why we get stuck. That's a lot of shit to go through.
Yeah.
And Harvard psychologist Dr. Robert Keegan, he describes this conflict as the socialized mind. And this is where people are loyal to their conditioning, not their inner truth, just because it feels safe.
Yep.
But he says, when you grow into a quote unquote self-authoring mind, you're going to feel so much more free. But your family might feel threatened because, again, you no longer fit into the role that they expect of you. And this just causes so much fear of losing your loved ones, fear of losing love, fear of losing support, it really shapes how we show up every single day. And it can so easily keep you small.
You know, now that you're kind of talking about this, I'm thinking more back to kind of my younger years, late teens, 18 or so, when I started to feel like the black sheep of the family doing my things. And I think what I actually had at that point in my life, it was a shield. Like, it's not that I didn't care. I very much did deeply still care, because I still had, you still have that inner fear. You still had shame, but the way I externally portrayed it was very different from like how you would. I mean, I very much did want to defend myself. I think for a while I did try to defend myself. And then at some point I was like,
what's the
fine,
point?
I don't care. I'm just going to do whatever I want. And I'm just going to be a tough cookie, like outer shell. But like inside, I was still really sad.
Yeah. So your shield was like acting aloof, even though really internally it was killing you probably.
Which I think that's the biggest difference I noticed between then and then this situation. Was like, it literally didn't affect me. I think I've done enough self-healing, done enough work and growth to accept myself enough to where if other people don't accept me, that's not my problem. I love me. I accept me. And that's all that truly matters in my life. I mean, that's not for everybody, but I do think if you want to be in a world where things, I don't know, just feel better, it starts with self-love and self-acceptance, because then people can throw rocks at you and call you names, and it won't deeply affect you.
Right. You know what? As you were talking, this reminded me of another story. It speaks to the fact that we can also put these perceptions onto other people ourselves. So when you're talking about the black sheep, it reminded me of one of our aunts that she said, I feel like the black sheep of the family. Everyone else is married and I'm widowed and divorced. And immediately in my head, I was like, oh my God, I've never thought of you as the black sheep. I actually think you're fucking cool.
Yeah.
And so then I realized, like, we are putting those projections of what other people think of us onto ourselves by thinking that's what other people think.
Right.
I do that all the time.
It's the thing. I mean, I don't remember the name of the person who originally quoted it, but I've heard it from Jay Shetty. I am who I think you think I am.
Yes.
So if I think that you think it's bad to get divorced, then I'm bad for that.
Ugh. Okay, again, we are not therapists, but my gosh, it's a lot. It's a lot to go through. So it's really not, it's not just what people actually say. It's also what you think people are saying too. That can affect you.
Thoughts become things.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So even your thoughts about yourself, they become the labels that you wear. They become the things, the heaviness.
Yeah. Okay. So what are some things we can do to stay on this authentic path and not shrink?
Surround yourself with awesome people.
Yes, that's on my list for sure.
Yes.
Surround yourself. I think one thing we need to work on is what I just said. Like, don't assume what people are thinking unless they say it out loud. And if they say it out loud, okay. Then you move on to step 2.
Don't assume. It makes an ass out of you and me.
I was just going to say, you know what it means, right? But if somebody actually does say out loud what you think they were thinking, or what you didn't know they were thinking, if they say something that triggers you, this is hard to do, but detach their fear from your identity. Their discomfort is not your truth, plain and simple. Yeah. And I know it's easier said than done. But
I also like to look at those triggers as like, okay, why is this triggering me? And usually it's because it's deeply tied to your identity. It's like, oh, because this is me. So if this is me, why should I feel bad? You know, I don't know. You can ask yourself some more questions.
Or this was who I was, but that's not who I want to be anymore. And it's okay to change.
Yep.
Another thing that's super important is ground yourself before reacting. So it's easy to snap. You might end up saying something you'll regret if you just go at it. There are people that can argue really well off the cuff. I am not one of those people. So it's okay to step
Don't look at
back.
me, but yes, I used to be a really big snapper. I think I've gotten a little bit better, but
you're not a snapper at all.
I'm not a red snapper anymore.
No, you've calmed.
That's good. I have Weird.
Super weird.
Growth, people. Growth.
It's possible. If Heidi can do it. No.
Yes, anybody can.
But if you are in the moment talking to someone, it's totally okay to be like, okay, I need to step back before I say anything. If you're texting someone, maybe write down all the things you want to say, but then delete it and then write something a little bit more polished.
Oh, I love it.
But the point is, your intuition is going to help you say what needs to be said, but it only speaks clearly when your nervous system is regulated, as we've said before. So take a few breaths before saying what you want to say. I know that sounds elementary, but it's still something we need to practice.
Sometimes we have to go back to kindergarten, honestly. Sometimes we do. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Share. Yeah, we got to go back to kindergarten, guys.
We do. A lot of us. Another thing is to practice the thought that we can both be right. Like we said before, this single line of saying we can both be right, it removes the need for you to defend your path, to defend your identity. And that's like a huge burden to lift off of yourself. You don't need to defend yourself.
Yep.
I'm not saying that they're going to understand your path and you don't have to understand theirs, but just know that two things can be true at once.
Yes, and that shit.
Yes,
just yes and that shit.
Oh, t-shirt.
There we go. Yes, and that shit. Ooh, I love it.
And then another important thing to do is release guilt and shame. So when you stop shrinking to keep someone else comfortable, this is for sure going to trigger guilt and shame. And we've talked about this before in other episodes. So guilt says, I did something bad, where shame says, I am something bad. And when your family disapproves of your identity, you're going to feel shame, inherited shame. I must be bad. And I don't know about you, Heidi, but for me, shame does not leave my body easily through talk therapy. I think
I think what helped me was that somatic movement that I sent you. That was so amazing, that class that we took.
Exactly.
Just moving the emotion through you. I did not know how much pent up rage. And I mean rage I had. Like I was screaming and yelling and crying and all. Like mine, I just saw red. Like I wonder if yours is
you turned
like,
red, Panda.
Because you did it too.
I did.
Like did you feel like one emotion more than another?
I cried. I just cried and cried and cried. And it was like baby crying where you're like catching your breath like
yeah. Yeah. I felt like I did
good.
that too though. Yeah. And it's so cathartic, but it was like my rage and anger, once I like screamed that out, then it went to just collapsing crying and just like letting it all out. And I felt so fucking light afterwards, like so much lighter.
And kind of just reparenting yourself, right? Like it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be mad. I say that to my kids all the time. It's okay to be mad. It's not okay to be mean. It's okay to be mad.
I love that line. I've definitely been using that for my children too. I'm like, you can be mad, but you can't be mean.
Yeah. Although then they try to toe that line of mean. Well, is this mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You give them an inch.
I know.
Tell ya.
Anyway, yes, exactly what you said, Heidi. Like not necessarily talking through your shame, but physically moving it out of your body. So shaking, breath work, running, dancing, or somatic exercises. It seems maybe silly and some people may be embarrassed to do it, but oh my God.
Do it when you're home
help.
alone. And it's so good. I did it out in my shed. And then through all my screaming, I was like, my neighbors are going to think there's a murder happening.
Or an orgy. Weird.
Yeah. At some points, like it did sound really sexual too. So I was just like, oh God, what are they gonna? This is not like it's insulated, but it's still a shed. So I'm like, well,
you can still
who cares?
do things. You know what? We're open here. We're open for everything.
Come to my shed if you're in Maine. You can scream and cry all you want.
Yes. Another thing we can do is find our authenticity anchors. So when you are tempted to shrink back into your old patterns out of safety and security, I get it. But first, journal on these 3 questions. 1 is, who was I before the world told me who to be? Who am I becoming now? And what does my intuition say? Journal this, read it, And then see, after reading this, if you're really willing to give that up before shrinking back into safety, because that's some powerful stuff. And then lastly, what you've always been saying, Heidi, choose a support system. Because sometimes biological family falters and a soul family can totally step in. And I think that's okay. It's okay for our support system to shift and grow and even shrink as we evolve. And maybe even later down the road, your family might show back up in your circle, but it's okay if they don't.
Well said.
So what we've been talking about is kind of sad and depressing. So I want to end it on something fun because there is a positive side to this. Think about what you get to look forward to if you live in your truth, if you express yourself authentically, regardless of what people say. When we stop living small, we stop silencing our intuition and we stop stalling our growth. The moment you stop apologizing for who you are, your intuition gets loud because authenticity amplifies it. And when you choose authenticity with your intuition flowing and speaking in her beautiful voice, it's also like your golden ticket to crush your goals on your path way faster than if you were to do it from fear.
Did you also know that authenticity is a higher vibration than love?
I heard that once.
I think we had it on the podcast. It was somebody I think we interviewed somebody, but yes, that stuck with me because I also always thought that love was the highest frequency, but it's authenticity, living in your authentic.
I love that because really it is like you're loving yourself. You're not giving your love to someone else. You are loving yourself. And
self-love is the highest frequency. Ooh, I love it.
Well, I know when we stop trying to win approval from people, unwilling to understand us, our intuition has been getting louder. Our path is getting clear. Things are starting to manifest for us. I love it.
Fuck yeah. It's been so good.
Oh, also going back to that UCLA study. Sorry, Heidi.
Oh.
But
don't apologize. I like listening to studies. I don't like researching them.
That's true. Point taken. So choosing authenticity is powerful because every time you stand in your truth, you are retraining that reptilian brain to see yourself as safe. You are evolving beyond the community that you were born into, and you're allowing yourself to find community that you were meant to grow with, or maybe even to create. And if your family wants to come along too, great. If not, we got you.
We got you. We're your sisters now.
Yeah, the point is, yes, it frickin' sucks when your family doesn't support you, but you don't need your family's permission to be yourself, to evolve. You don't need their approval to be spiritual, intuitive, queer, outspoken, political, creative, different. You only need to trust yourself. Ooh.
Mic drop.
I just surprised myself.
Ooh, I said a good one.
I
love it.
Yeah, the moment we release our shame, our intuition is like our GPS. So
your inner compass stops spinning and it points you due north.
Yeah. Bing. Let this be the season that you choose you. You choose your truth, even if they don't understand it. And we will be your sisters in solidarity.
Yay.
I mean, that's been our mission this whole time, right? To help others to trust themselves, even when the world or their family doesn't. So
believe in the unbelievable.
And if you are navigating a difficult moment where you are afraid to show up authentically with your family, come hang out with us. We'll help you reconnect to your inner guidance. Oh, I almost forgot. This month, we are starting a free alignment audits. Right, Heidi?
Hell yeah. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So
you
excited
talk about
it? Yeah. So
Okay.
if you are feeling like either that you're just so scattered, like your inner compass is spinning, or if you have a big goal in 2026 that you want to achieve, or maybe even if you have a 5-year goal, but you want to do it in 1 year.
Hot damn.
then you need to book. It's free. It's a free alignment audit. So I'm going to look a little bit at your numerology. So I'll look at your life path and see how you're aligned with that. You let us know all your big, scary goals, and we can help get you up on a platform how to get there and align to get there faster. And then we'll teach you how to really start tapping into your intuition, give you the tools to start practicing, because intuition is also a muscle and you need to practice it. Go to the gym. Some people might need a coach. Just throwing that out there. So free alignment audit, just to get you in alignment with your dreams, your desires, your goals, and just feel good about being you.
Yeah. And we only have time for a few of these alignment audits a week. So head to our show notes, click on our website link, and sign up for your free alignment audit to get you on track.
See what we find out.
See what happens.
Let's see what happens. I mean, it's free. What can you lose?
Great advertising. Okay.
Yeah. We're obviously not marketing people, so
no,
it's fine.
We suck at advertising
really
and
suck
sales.
at marketing.
I'm sorry, guys. So if it sounds a little forced, sorry. We're trying.
We're trying our best.
Before we head out, Heidi, let's hear our tarot for the week.
What should we focus on to make our goals happen this week?
Ooh.
I want to know what we should do to make our. Oh my God. Did you see that? Did it go on camera? It literally, I just started to shuffle and it literally flew straight up.
Clear message
It's
for us.
a Queen of Acorns, passion and creativity. And it's represented by the deer.
Hell yeah.
And it's just, I just like the queens in general because their energy is so awesome. But acorns are also the same as coins in a traditional tarot reading.
Ooh,
so
abundance.
the Queen of Acorns, it's so abundant. And it's just going after what you want, going after your goals, literally, because it's material world. So it's going after your goals. And this card in general just feels so aligned and just feels so, it just feels very feminine, but also like, I'm going to get some shit done.
I think it's saying everyone's going to sign up for an alignment audit this week.
Oh, obviously. The card actually says on the bottom, don't forget to sign up for the alignment audit.
We're getting so good at this, Heidi.
Yes.
All right. Again, go to our show notes, click on our website link, or go to www.trustyourselfpodcast.com and check out all of our offerings. We'd love to see you there. So until next time, it's your move, sis.
Make it count.
Bye. That's a dick move, right?
Yeah. Fucking evolution.